Okay, and how do you respond to Ambassador Foley's claim, shared by all the people who signed the memo, that the ban is a betrayal of American values?
The ambassador is certainly entitled to his opinion on that. There are many, obviously it's very clear that this policy has many opponents, but fundamentally it's designed to try to keep the United States safe.
Okay, so that little clip right there is just a taste of what we are about to watch. This is a full-on congressional hearing, and you just saw Ilhan Omar questioning Edward Ramatowski from the State Department. And honestly, what you are about to see is a masterclass in how to handle a political ambush. You have got a career public servant. This man has been with the State Department for more than 30 years. He is not a politician, he is a professional, and he is being questioned by a Democrat who is clearly trying to score political points. Ilhan Omar is trying to get him to criticize his own department, his fellow officers, or the president, and he is simply not taking the bait. We are going to watch the entire exchange, and I want you to pay close attention to how he answers, not just what he says. He is explaining legal process and policy implementation while she's trying to create a political gotcha moment using hearsay and quotes from people who resigned. This is the kind of detailed political exchange I love to break down. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think he handled the pressure well? And if you enjoy this kind of no-nonsense political analysis, make sure you like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. Let us get into the full video.
Thank you, Chairwoman. Mr. Ramatowski, you've been with the State Department for 33 years, right?
Over 33 years, yes.
Oh, wonderful. Has it been typical for more than 100 people to sign dissent memos on a given policy?
That would be atypical, I think.
Atypical. Has it been typical for policy to drive several SOs to publicly resign in protest?
There have been Foreign Service officers who've resigned in the past over various policies. That's true.
In June of 2017, between the second and the third version of the Muslim ban, more than 100 diplomats signed a dissent memo that said, quote, banning travelers from these 7 countries calls back to some of the worst times in our history. Former consular officer Christopher Richards, who resigned in protest of the Muslim ban, said in an op-ed that the consular officers were not able to issue waivers on their own, that they had to get approval from the State Department. Would that be you? Do you give that approval?
No, that's not correct. The consular officers make the decision on the first 2 prongs of the waiver, national interest and undue hardship, and then the interagency security review provides the guidance on the security prong.
So that's not a decision you get to make, no. Or is the White House involved in that decision?
Not at all.
Okay. Sarah Gardner, another former FSO who resigned in protest over the Muslim ban, told CNN that fellow officers, quote, felt pressure to approve as few folks as possible for the waiver. She also said that the Muslim ban had been, quote, reworked and sanitized by layers of bureaucracy with people distracted by the next terrible thing. It can be easy to forget it's even happening. Well, it looks like Congress hasn't forgotten. And Madam Chair, I have assigned testimony from 4 former FSOs that I would like to enter into record.
It's put into the record by unanimous consent.
Thank you. Ambassador John Foley, who quit his post as ambassador to Panama in 2018, said he could no longer represent President Trump and still hold true to the value that make this country great. Among the policies he listed was the Muslim ban. In the end, how many diplomats and consular officers signed the dissent memo protesting the ban?
I don't have an exact number for you, Congresswoman. I know that some did.
Mm-hmm. Will you be able to get us that number?
I can't guess that number, no.
How do you respond to his claim that the consular officers have to get clear waivers with your office?
I would say, as I said before, that that's not correct. The consular officers make the determination on the first 2 prongs of the waiver, national interest and undue hardship. And the security check, as I testified, is conducted back here in Washington. Now, if a consular officer is...
So you're saying his claim is false?
Which claim? That Washington is making the decisions?
Yes.
Yes, that's not correct.
And how do you respond to Ms. Gartner's claim that the officers are implicitly or explicitly pressured to deny waivers?
We are not implicitly or explicitly pressuring anyone to act in any way contrary to the law.
Okay. And how do you respond to Ambassador Foley's claim, shared by all the people who signed the memo, that the ban is a betrayal of American values?
The ambassador is certainly entitled to his opinion on that. There are many, obviously it's very clear that this policy has many opponents, but fundamentally it's designed to try to keep the United States safe.
And to our other two panelists, was Stephen Miller's role in formulating the 3 reiterations of the Muslim ban? What was his role?
I'm not aware of any role played by Stephen Miller.
And Ms. Newman?
I was not at the department in January. I did not start until late February.
Okay. And what instructions were DHS and state given from the White House as how to implement the Muslim ban?
I wasn't given any instruction from the White House.
Again, ma'am, I was not at the department in January 2017.
The department was not consulted about the first executive.
Forget the play-by-play, let us go straight to the analysis, because what we just watched was a political ambush, and the target refused to go down. This entire exchange was a masterclass in professional composure versus political theater. Let us be clear about the setup. Ilhan Omar came in prepared. She had her quotes, her talking points, and her narrative ready. She was not there to gather information, she was there to create a moment. Her entire argument was built on hearsay, quoting people who resigned. She cited a former Foreign Service officer, Christopher Richards, and another former officer, Sarah Gartner, who claimed they felt pressured. This is the classic political tactic. People who left said this. Now what does the person who stayed have to say? And Edward Ramatowski dismantled that argument piece by piece. First, the waiver process that was supposed to be the gotcha moment. She claimed officers could not issue waivers, and that he was the bottleneck. His response was simple and direct: that is not correct. He did not get angry, he did not get flustered. He corrected the record in front of Congress and explained the actual process. He made it clear that officers do make the decisions. He shut down her entire premise. She was operating on second-hand claims from someone who had left, and he responded with facts from those still doing the work. Second, the accusation about pressure. Ilhan Omar claimed that an officer felt pressured. How do you respond to that? Edward Ramatowski handled it perfectly. He did not debate someone's feelings. He defended his department with a clear legal statement. We are not implicitly or explicitly pressuring anyone to act contrary to the law. That is how you answer an accusation based on emotion. You respond with policy and fact. But the most strategic moment came at the end, the question about betraying American values. This was a trap. She was looking for a headline. She wanted him to agree and risk consequences or disagree and be portrayed as heartless. He refused to take the bait. He acknowledged that the ambassador is entitled to an opinion, and then brought it back to the purpose of the policy, which is to keep the United States safe. He refused to turn it into a moral debate. He stayed focused on the function of the policy, not the politics surrounding it. He is a 33-year professional, and he showed it. He was there as an expert on process, not as a political commentator. This was not just a hearing, it was an attempted public takedown, and it did not succeed. In that exchange, the professional with the facts outperformed the politician with prepared talking points.